the hot tub.
Yeah.
Willie make me sweat.
Yeah.
Chilling in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Willie make me wet.
Yeah.
Well.
And good morning and welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hot tub right now.
Yo.
What was it, 34, 35 right now?
Something 32 when I rolled up in the parking lot.
32.
Yep.
Yeah. How low did it get on the beach? Anybody know?
No idea.
It's at least 32, right?
Yeah.
So in the wind chill factor, did you cover your pipes? Did you get out there and do all that stuff?
No.
I actually did. Just the two pipes. She said, go get a towel, wrap them around.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Turn them on, let them drip a little bit.
Forgot that part. I did forget about that part. But I did open the I tell you what, if you got Stevenson air conditioning, I remember before we had Stevenson air conditioning, this is no lie now, that thing would run, and especially during cold weather, run and run. Of course, it was really old, and it would never get the house warm. Now, we got up, I put it on 68, went to bed, slept good. Got up this morning, we turned it up a little bit higher, and that house gets warm so quickly. And if you're having problems, I'm telling you now, don't go with anybody but Stevenson air conditioning. If your house it's just running, you're freezing right now, your power bill's going through the roof, you're not getting any warmer, you're not doing something smart. You need to call Stevenson air conditioning, have Jason's crew come out there. They'll solve the problem. I'm telling you right now, they're going to help you every way they can. Stevenson air conditioning in this cold weather. Now they did open up some shelters from somewhere in town. I forgot the name of it. If you're had no place to stay, and if you're going to leave your animals outside overnight in this kind of weather, why don't you stay out there with them?
Yeah.
I can't stand that. It makes me mad. If it's cold like this, you got an animal, do the right thing. Bring them in the house.
Go sit out there for an hour and see how that feels.
Yeah, put your butt out there and go through it. But hey, Jim Bob, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all good.
Wildcat, how you doing, buddy?
Ow! I'm freezing.
Jason, what's going on in Max Fit Sports Nutrition?
A lot of people coming in trying to lose weight for the New Year's. We have a lot of New Year's resolutioners coming in. So Darlene's writing a lot of meal plans right now. We got Sia writing meal plans. I'm going to be writing meal plans this year. I'm going to get back in there and help out some of these high school kids that we've been working with. So we got our free sample bar, so you can come in and try products. We got local military discounts daily. So just come in and try our products. Talk to one of our certified sports nutritionists if you want to lose weight or gain muscle. So a lot going on. I think it's going to be a really good year. We saw a lot of increases in December, which helped out a lot because last year was not good for a lot of people.
And Jamie's actually taken now 3 of the things I've recommended, thank God, finally. So anyway, if you want to try to fight off this, we have a little something going around. It's been pretty hard on some people, but if you take zinc, this multivitamin I take, and this fish oil I take, I'm telling you, that to me, whatever's in that one thing really helps me a lot. It has
still have our immune too that we had during the pandemic. It's got everything you need in it with the zinc. It has, I forget the other compound in it, but there's everything you need: vitamin C, vitamin D3, just to fight off any viruses and help build up your immune system. So
I need to get one of those.
I'm taking it now because you can hear. I got a little congestion myself.
You should take your medicine like I told
I
you.
I do. That's why I'm not fully sick.
You're full of what, Jason?
Congestion.
Full of haze. I'll tell you later. Local news. What's going on locally? I get a text from Judy Bob last night. It was not North Bayhaven. It was
Bayhaven.
Bayhaven. What's the deal on this?
I have no idea. I
didn't hear it.
I don't know if Adam's house came.
They arrested, wasn't he a big wheel over there?
He was the one in charge.
Yeah. Pornographic.
Oh, man.
With,
child porn.
Child porn. That to me, that's sick.
Yeah.
I mean, who in their right mind?
The right mind. That's a key thing right there.
Yeah. They ought to be thrown under the jail if they're having kids. Anyway, I'm going to get into that. But I thought that was shocking when I saw that. But thank you, Judy, for informing me that. Unbelievable. There was something else I wanted to ask you. How was your Christmas? I hadn't talked to you guys since then.
It was good. We just spent it with family. Had a couple of days off.
I hadn't got the gift yet. Is it? I need to come by the store.
In the mail.
It's in the mail.
Yeah. It's them tickets to that Cotton Bowl that you promised us. Randy.
You got your snow shovel so you can go to Columbus and watch the game.
Atlanta's a lot closer.
Right. Still got to beat Texas, though.
Oh, I tell you what, if they play if they're capable of playing. All right, I'm going to ask you guys this. The 4 teams, and I will say this in front of you two guys. Oregon got screwed.
I think
They're the number 1 seed in the country. They go 13-0, and they got to play. They're rewarded playing the winner of the Ohio State-Tennessee game.
Right.
And you got Boise State, no cut down to Boise.
Well, we can talk about how bad they are.
but we will. But we will.
But you will, yeah, exactly.
Even Arizona State, which played really well. They did. They played good. You got to give them credit. And they improved so much. I watched them early in the year against Mississippi State. They struggled against Mississippi State with team that won 2 games.
That
but they got better. What about the running back?
Oh, both of them are good. That quarterback, he escapes the pocket.
Yeah,
he's
he's
where I thought
very,
there was
very
zero
mobile.
chance he could have got away. I mean, he jumped over a defender, ran to his left, threw back to his right. I think he's only a sophomore, a freshman.
And all you people out there that think that it's going to be an easy game for Ohio State, which it could be. But in my mind, after watching this stuff and going through it for years, getting ready to play for Arizona State, your level of excitement playing that game where you're walking there as a big-time favorite thinking you're going to have to show up, and then watching film of Ohio State, Oregon, knowing you better show up if you want to win a championship. I think they're going to play at a different level. I think they're going to get after it. I just don't think they have enough.
If you saw the first 5 minutes of that game, you were thinking, okay, this is going to be a total blowout. So that's the good
14,
Texas, you know. And then you see the lulls in the offense where yours isn't actually seeing the field very well. They don't running the ball very well. I think their offensive line's beat up. That's going to be a huge factor if they're going to be healthy. I mean, Banks is a first-round offensive tackle. If he's not going, that hurts them really bad. Yep. Ohio State's defensive line's playing as good as anybody in the country right now. So if their offensive line,
offense too,
kicking
game, they're hot. I mean, they're a hot team right now. They look really good. They look unbeatable. But I want to go back to the bye week. Everybody was saying not all of them lost. All of them lost. Now, again, we pointed out they're all different. Oregon had to play Ohio State. Georgia had to play. I really like the chemistry of the. I listened to the interview of those kids.
Yeah,
they were covering it, SEC Network. I was telling you both this at 2:00 on Friday. The SEC Network's live, and sometimes it's good to watch your opponent's network to see how they do. And they do a really good job. They give you a lot of information and stuff like that. And that's like 4.5 hours before kickoff. And they're there at the stadium. They do a good job. Big Ten, their network, I watched a little bit of it. They do an okay job. I don't think they're as good as SEC. Sorry. But anyway.
It doesn't mean more.
Yeah.
That's why.
But
they don't care.
They all lost. Every team that got a bye lost. Georgia got Notre Dame, which is probably one of the better teams. Boise State got, who'd they get, Penn State?
So I do have a little problem with this because every team that didn't play in their conference championship had the same amount of time off, 3 weeks, Tennessee, Ohio State.
Lost.
And no, they all won.
Yeah.
And now Oregon gets 3 weeks off because they played in the championship game, but if you map that out to 3 weeks out, they had the same amount of time off as the other teams that played in the first round. So now they got to bye. If you came out rusty, that's on your coaching staff. You weren't practicing hard enough. You weren't going one-on-one. You weren't doing what was necessary to be,
I was going to ask you, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's an excuse.
I do too. I
think they should tweak
I coached a long time, and Nick Saban. I like Nick Saban more now than I did when he coached. He's a wise person because he's seen everything.
Absolutely.
It's rat poison. It's BS. It's just excuses, like you say.
You can tell why he won 6 national championships. Because there are no excuses at this level.
And I think the solution is very, very simple. Get rid of the automatic buys for the conference champions.
I believe that.
Just rank everybody. All right, here's your 12 teams. Okay, we got them. And just rank them. And just go from. They don't. Think about March Madness in basketball. They don't give buys to all the conference champions and all that. They just rank them and play them and play it out and stop making everybody travel and have more home games. That's just me.
I think that's a big ordeal too. I think the second round game should be also at the home, higher seeds home field because you got fan bases traveling to 3 possible neutral sites.
Who wants to go play in that cold weather? That's illegal.
If you're
if you're Oregon had a home game this time against Ohio State instead of having to play.
You're an Ohio State fan. You had a home game. Then you had to go to Pasadena. Now you got to go to Dallas. And if they win, you got to go to Atlanta. Are you kidding? Who can? What are you, Elon Musk?
That's $30,000.
Nobody can afford that. Nobody.
Yeah.
No.
And Jim and I were talking about that, and I really believe this, that a lot of those Ohio State people knew they could get big-time money. I know Alabama people did it when Texas came to Tuscaloosa. I know one really well. They made enough money off of one game because those people have money, and they wanted to come to Bryant-Denny and see all that. they charged them so much money that it paid for everything the whole year that they had spent. I think Ohio State fans, some of those said, hey, look, we win. We're going to the Rose Bowl. Let's sell these tickets.
Yeah.
That's going to pay for our trip. And that's what they did.
Probably.
If you saw where the tickets were that the Tennessee fans were sitting in, they were prime seats. They were front row,
And that's
Yeah.
in the
money.
big booster
Yeah, you're
areas.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
you're right.
those guys sold their tickets for
Yeah,
sure.
they did.
And I
mean,
guarantee, though, they were at the Rose Bowl.
And I guarantee they sold them for about $5 to $10 grand a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
got a lick for them because they're not just going to hand them over and be like, yeah, go cheer against this. Because there was a lot of Tennessee fans. It wasn't 40% like Judas Herbstreit was talking about with a clown. I mean, it's so
Yeah, I agree.
irritating.
Hey, the ESPN people really are professional. They're not biased in any way.
Yeah, no.
How could you say that about your former quarterback?
I'll say it again. He's a Judas.
And we talk about, calls and non-calls. How can you say that hit by that kid at Texas against Arizona State was not targeting?
You can't.
He hit the kid face to face. Face mask right into his face.
Helmet to helmet.
Helmet to helmet. How is that not targeting?
And for people that don't
No,
understand
no,
the
no,
rule,
no
let's clear
targeting.
that
No,
up
it's
first.
all good.
There's two types of targeting. There's one where it's not a defenseless receiver, that it has to be the crown of the helmet. So that wasn't that type of targeting. There's also a defenseless receiver who hasn't, got possession, hasn't got his feet on the ground, that you can't hit him in the head with the helmet, shoulder, your knee, anything. If you get contact to the helmet,
Face to face.
that is a targeting penalty. And for them to review that and totally not call it would just
It just means
laughable.
more.
It's absolutely laughable. Same thing that happened to Marvin Harrison Jr. against in Atlanta against Georgia. I mean, I don't understand how come these never benefit teams that play the SEC. It just seems strange.
I don't know what y'all are talking
Yeah.
about. I didn't see it that way.
And you probably know.
And you're old and
You
blind.
probably know this. The last time. No, Ohio State has got 47 sacks now on the season.
Yeah.
47.
47. Good God.
They have the last time that they've drawn a holding penalty was Marshall.
I know.
That was the fourth game of the season.
And that's the only one on the
They
year.
have not drawn a single holding penalty since then. Not one.
But
Not
I'll be
one.
honest about this.
So
I'd
they're
rather
rushing the
them
passer and
stay
they don't
out of the
get help?
game and call nothing than call everything because I forget what game it was.
And I'll be honest with you, I missed that call. I did hear a lot about it. I missed that one. I missed it.
The guy got hit in the head and
I was
concussed.
driving to Birmingham, Alabama for the Texas game. I got there in time to watch. I wanted to get there to watch the Rose Bowl because I thought, come on, we just thought Texas would win the game. And I'm here, it's 14-0, like you said.
Oh, they started out like
So
a ball of fire.
we started listening to different stuff and talking, driving to Birmingham. And then we get home, we watch the Georgia game. And then I kept hearing on Facebook, everybody's talking about that, going crazy about the no call.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's, normal. This is a normal day in
No
the
big
SEC.
deal.
And actually, Arizona State could have won that game. They missed two really makeable field goals, and they got turned over on downs within the 20-yard line twice. I mean, they had their chances.
Their 4th and 1 calls were atrocious. I mean, you're running right in the middle of that defense at their best defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Remind me of the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, you got to come up with a little bit creative
Play
solution
calling.
on that.
Hey, speaking of the Big Ten, my God, they dominating right now. They are. Y'all are the new power. The SEC is not the toughest power. Look at the bowl game record. We'll talk more about it when we get back.
Yeah.
Jason, let's talk about your store. What's the best way to get up to you? And tell me where you're located.
So we're located in Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods and on 23rd Street in the Del Coronado Village next to Black Sheep Armory and Taziki's. You can come in any store. You can call 850-708-3051 if you're interested in signing up for a meal plan for the new year. We have plenty of slots available. It's $100 a month, but you get weekly check-ins. We cater each meal plan to the individual and their goals, so it's not something we just write out and hand out to 50 people. So, but if you want to get in touch with us, just come into either store. We have our free sample bar. We got local military and first responder discounts daily. It's a long day.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of our other great sponsors we have. And I'm telling you all right now, you're sitting in your house and you're freezing and your power bill's going through the roof. You got an older home. Hey, it's on you. You call Stevenson Air Conditioning. All the person you got to call. Don't call anybody else. Don't call a national company. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning. Local boy, graduated from Mosley High School. They'll come out and they're going to solve all your problems. And it's not going to cost you. You don't have to go get a mortgage to pay for it. They do a great job. Stevenson Air Conditioning. Everybody I know has gotten a brand new unit from them or have them service their unit. They won't come out and just give you a brand new one. They'll come out and tell you what's wrong. They'll service it. It'll work better. It's going to save you some money. And this is going to go on for about a week. This cold weather is here for a while. So don't sit there and freeze. Don't sit there and spend all your money on a power bill. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning right now. Give them a call. They'll come out. Help. They'll get out there today. They'll do the best they can to make sure you are taken care of. They do an incredible job. That is Stevenson Air Conditioning. This cold weather is brutal right now. Now, you want a great meal? It's J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive. The best seafood, the coldest beer, the legendary J. Michael's. One day away from that world-famous J. Michael's spaghetti. South Oak Title and Closing for all your real estate closing. It's Chuck Tucker, another local guy. His dad was a principal at Mosley. Local company. It expanded throughout Northwest Florida. You talk about Mark Cow down on 38, sells multi-million-dollar homes. That's the only guy he'll use is Chuck Tucker in South Oak Title and Closing because he knows he wants the best. No mistakes, done right every single time. South Oak Title and Closing is number one. Go ahead. What are we giving away today?
Oh, yeah, I need to tell you about this. It's the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. I got all choked up. I'm sorry.
You all right?
What we're going to do is we're going to send a whole big bunch of people on the magic bus, so to speak, to a Sacramento Kings, to the Orlando Magic game as they host the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. Yes, Smitty, spit it out. And you'll get to watch the game in a luxury suite, which I went last year, and it was wonderful. I had a great time. Free food. This year, we're sending everybody down there. They're going to stay overnight in a hotel because it's a long drive down, a long drive back. So, hotel suite. We want to thank people like PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall & Hearts, who's going to chauffeur us down there, Fairfield Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites. All you got to do to enter the contest is go to the ESPN app and just click the button, enter the contest. It's as easy as that. If you're eligible to win, we'll notify you, and voila. What?
No, go ahead. I was just harassing Jason.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I toned you out. You did a great job, though. That's probably one of the best commercials I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer, punch it in. College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming, Rampant.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a brisk wind out of the north around 9 miles per hour and temps near 49. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be slightly above freezing at 35. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 52 with a gentle breeze. Mostly sunshine Thursday with a temp of 52. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, the kids are back in school today, so be careful driving. Take your time. Be aware school is back in session. Watch out. If anybody running in front of you, school buses are out there. Please be careful. It is cold today. We got a special thing coming up this Saturday morning, or Saturday at 3 o'clock. Lorelei Grayson Hale will turn 7 years old.
Wow, nice.
My baby girl will be
Happy birthday.
7 years old, Lorelei. So we're looking forward to that birthday party for her. Johnny's doing great. We had a great Christmas. I asked you guys, how was your Christmas? Didn't any one of you three say, hey, how was yours? No.
How was yours?
Hey, thank you, Jim.
How was yours?
Thank you. I don't want to talk to you. It was great. Had the three granddaughters there. Jamie was there. And even Sparky. Not Sparky.
Not Sparky.
Sparky's in
Champ.
heaven. Sparky's in
But
heaven.
Champ
I miss
come?
you. I miss you, Sparky. I'll start crying. But Champ was there, and he was great. I was really shocked. He
didn't
was
bite
really,
anybody?
didn't bite anybody. Didn't bark. He was really good. I think we drugged him up. I'm not sure. But now Christmas was great. And that night, Christmas night, went to Laura and Eric Baker's house. We had a blast. It was
Good.
it was a great Christmas, no doubt about that. Great time. And thank you for asking. I'm glad I didn't have to ask you to ask me. Anyway, so we hope everybody out there had a great Christmas. You want to give us a call today, 215-6290. We're going back to the bye. If it helps, if it hurts, I still think it helps. If I'm in the playoffs, I get where some of the coaches are coming from. If you're winning, like when you coach in high school football, I didn't want to open week. I want to keep going, especially if you're healthy.
Right.
Let's keep going. The key to winning, I think, when you do have a 3-week layoff to get ready for that game, is you keep the same routine.
Right.
Keep your same Monday practice, Tuesday practice, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, Saturday's one thing you got to do different. You can't go out there and scrimmage. I don't think. I wouldn't go out there and scrimmage with the games coming up. But you go out there and have a pretty quick practice, get them off the field. But if you keep players and coaches, I think, are routine type of guys. I do the same thing. I eat the same stuff. I go to the same places. You're that way. You've been that way, too.
Yeah.
So if you keep them in the same routine, I think having all that 3 weeks time is no problem.
And you know the other thing too, I've thought about this a lot with all the teams. You know, Ohio State. Everybody's going, well, Ohio State's changed so much, and they've done this, that, and the other. And I don't know if they have. They might have had it, just never showed it. That doesn't even matter to me. Okay, as a coach, you got to fight the temptation. You get all that time. You get that Dr. Frankenstein mentality. Oh, if we can just tweak this, if we can just do, and there's a fine line between adding stuff and just getting better at what you already do.
Right.
And so it's kind of hard to know which one of those things that you should do. Right. Well, if we just do this a little better, we don't need to add anything, because as a young coach, I learned I was shot down by my head coach many times. You always want to add some play. I want to add, if we just could do that, well, you know what, that's not our offense, though, you know?
Yeah.
And if you do that, then how many times, and I remember I heard Lou Holtz speaking on TV, to do that, you got to rep it. He had a formula. You had to rep a play X amount of times, like 50, I'm just throwing a number. I don't know what the number was.
Before you run a game.
Before you ever even try to run it in a game, because the kids got to know it automatically. They can't be thinking about, well, we said if you do that, I'll do this. So there's always that temptation to add and not add.
And like you're saying, when you add something, you got a script. You have so many plays you can run during your team period. So if you're going to add something, you're going to have to take something away.
Right.
You can't keep adding to the script. You got a time frame. You got to do these plays.
And you can't have just team practice the whole practice.
Right.
Because we used to joke about that. You can tell, you go see other teams practice, and if all they do is team, then they're not coached very well, because they're not learning the actual individual skills you need for whatever position that you play.
Right.
You can't just do team the whole.
I also think there's a little bit of an unknown here, because this is a new era of college football. I mean, now you're looking at guys trying to prepare for a game in 3 weeks, but they're also going to have a 4-game stretch where they got to manage, workload. They got to manage their energy. They can't get guys hurt, because this is a marathon. You can win. You can play 16 games. That's an NFL schedule at this point.
Well, this is Texas's 16th game.
Yeah,
and Ohio State, isn't it?
No,
they didn't play.
They didn't play the championship game.
Yeah.
But even Ohio State talked about one of the reasons they didn't run tempo early in the year is because they knew how long the season was going to be, and they didn't wear their guys down.
Frank and Barbara back in town. They're from right outside Cincinnati. They got a house there and a house here, and they're back. They're big Buckeye fans, big Buckeye, and they're obviously the Cincinnati Bengals. But they're like me. It's like things are changing. They're like, you know what? And Ohio State's the king right now. But they're like, I'm sick of these kids transferring out. He said, I don't mind them getting money, but it's turning me off on college football that they don't play in bowl games. He said the Miami quarterback played a half a game. I said, I know, Frank, I'm with you. I don't understand it either. It's changed.
A friend, I'll tell you who off the air, the coach with us at Cape Pearl High School, and I don't know if this is for the whole game or the half. Supposedly Cam Ward got $4 million to play in that game.
If he did, that's a.
And I said, for a half?
For a game that means absolutely
a half?
nothing.
He got $4 million? It's like,
I can't believe that.
It's like, who's his agent? Oh, my goodness. I mean, sign me up.
I don't believe any of these NIL numbers anymore because when we saw the top 20, Oregon wasn't even there, and they're probably number one with some right money.
And again, I don't know that was true.
Right.
But he had to get paid something to play because he just tapped out totally.
The one that was worse was the South Carolina-Illinois game because the safety didn't even tell the coaches that he was going to opt out. He opted out at halftime, came back out in the third quarter. Beamer went over to him and said, get your helmet and get the heck off the sideline.
I like Beamer.
Kicked him off the sidelines.
Yeah.
He didn't tell anybody before the game. It's a 1-point game. I mean, he was their starting safety. So what happens is you can't get your backup safety ready in practice because he didn't even tell you. So he comes out the second half. They're like, get in. He's like, oh, no, me and my agents decided I opted out in the third quarter. So Beamer threw him off the sidelines and sent him home.
Unbelievable. I'm telling you.
That's worse.
You got more and more people that I'm talking to that we see at wrestling talking. They're like, I used to love college football. I mean, I don't even like the NFL, but I love college football. And then you got other guys that love the NFL more than college. But they're all saying it. They're like, I'm getting sick of this transfer deal.
Did you see what I posted? I posted it yesterday afternoon. Robbie Ashford from Hoover High School, right up the road.
Don't say that. That's my Auburn update.
Okay.
Yeah. I did see it. I copied it down. That's my Auburn update. We'll talk about that at Auburn.
Okay. It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
But I think we're turning into NFL, and our hardcore college fans like us.
No, we're worse than the NFL.
It's
The NFL doesn't opt out. They don't quit playing. They'll get fired or they won't get paid.
But we all have connections to the teams that we root for. They're either played there, my parents went there, I'm alumni or something. So there's a passion within a college football team that you just don't have with an NFL team. And now it's all about the individual money. These kids are transferring. You don't know who's going to be on your Caleb Downs, All-American Alabama. Now he's All-American at Ohio State. I mean, it's the Wild West.
Yeah, I really like that kid, too.
And I think part of the problem, too, is that, the average fan, they know they can't. They'll never be a college athlete, and they live and die with that.
Yeah.
I've supported my team for whatever team you support for forever, and I wish I could be like those guys. I wish I could just one time go out there and run out of the tunnel at Ohio State or Notre Dame or Michigan, wherever it is, and you have the guys that they watch, the guys they idolize, have that opportunity. And they just, I'm going to go play for somebody else. I mean,
here's the new thing. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
But a lot of the younger people are like, well, I get it. It's a business.
Come on.
Look at Damon Wilson at Georgia. He's going to start this year.
Is it age different? Because we grew up where the commitment was a big deal.
It's definitely a culture shift that we've seen over the last 5 years. I mean, the individual, and we saw it in the NFL during the Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens era. Remember, you used to get flagged for celebrating. Then they had the Hall of Fame jackets on the sidelines. The cameras already set up, stuffed in the goalpost, little padding, and celebrations went off the wall, and it became all about the individual. And
it's a no-fun league, baby.
But that's when I kind of lost love for the NFL because I want to see the team aspect of it. I want to see 12, 11 guys get together.
Yesterday we were talking about this, and I said, "What is this going to go like? We're in the United States Air Force, Marines, Navy, whatever, and all of a sudden we're fighting, and China calls, hey, look, we're going to pay you more money. Come fight for China." Is that the mindset?
That's a business decision.
A business,
exactly what's happening.
Yeah. We got to live.
Wait till Jeremiah Smith jumps in the portal and somebody offers him $10 million to leave Ohio State. He could be the top receiver. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying there's going to be a guy like that that's going to be one of the top players in the country on a team, and he's going to just get in the portal. He may make $2 million from Ohio State. How much do you think Jeremiah Smith would make on the open market right now? Somebody would give him $10 million.
Whatever he wants.
Well, to me, the kid that won the Heisman Trophy, that's great. He played both ways. That's great. I'm sorry. He is a great player, no doubt, but he's not the best player in college football.
No,
that freshman at Ohio State, I think, is one of the best, if not the best in college football.
He didn't even win freshman of the year.
That's Julio Jones. When I saw that, I really watched him a lot in that Orange Rose Bowl. That's Julio Jones. He looks just like him. He's built like that. I mean, he's going to get bigger.
I think he's a little bit
more take a break.
Polished, too, as a receiver as well. So, but the physicality
Julio, the problem with Alabama, they blocked. I mean, he did more run blocking than he did catching the ball back then. They ran the ball all the time back then. All right, let's talk to some of the great people we have. This legendary doctor, Dr. Chad Mitchell. If you get any type of injury, this the only one guy you would need to call is Chad Mitchell. Matter of fact, I was at the gym yesterday. Terry Consman hurt her shoulder, and she is going to get up with Dr. Chad Mitchell. She knows about Chad. Legendary doctor, 25 years on the sidelines. If you get any type of injury anywhere, you call Chad Mitchell. Go make sure you make an appointment with him. He'll take care. The guy's incredible. Now, they can do it the old-fashioned way, and also he's a MD robotic surgery also. The guy's incredible. And then you listen to Chad Mitchell every Monday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Also, Patrick will be in here with us every Monday morning. You want that yard to look beautiful? They also do insects for your house. I didn't even know that. Turf Pro Pest Control, #1, not even close. Anytime you want the yard to look absolutely beautiful, it's Turf Pro Pest Control. And Patrick will be in here every Monday at 8:30. Looking forward to him. Does a great job. Also, Beef Braves in Lynn Haven. Pat Pernod is a great city commissioner. Lynn Haven guy's incredible. Wonderful man. They own Beef O'Brady in Lynn Haven. The place is incredible. They treat you like family there. I love all the people that work there. He has trained them well. They always got a smile on their face. They never have a bad day. That's what people remember. They're going to keep going back to the way you're treated, and the food is outstanding. Get out to Beef O'Brady's this Thursday and Friday. Watch all the playoff games right there and have a wonderful time. We'll be right back. We've got the Wildcat. We got Jim Brandt. We got Jason Kovalet's got a phone call. Then we got the FSU update. Be right back.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Coming up tonight, Auburn is 13-1 on a 6-game win streak and ranked #2 in the country. The Tigers travel to Texas to play the 11-3 Longhorns inside the Moody Center in Austin. Coverage coming up at 7:30, tip-off at 8. Listen live at ultra-high fidelity on your home for the Auburn Tigers and college basketball.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. 800-708-3092. That's 800-708-3092.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop! Swiffer Power Mop!
He's a 10-foot-tall, barrel-chested beast man who showers in vodka and feeds his baby shrimp scampi.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Please welcome.
Ain't don't hurt.
Live and local from the J. Michaels studio, the Coach James Hale Show, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! FSU update. Get out to Newbies, have a great time. 4 great locations. I saw John yesterday playing racquetball. I cannot get over how the guy's built, the guy that can still move, good-looking guy. Of course, he's married to Charlotte. He better stay good-looking because she's beautiful. They do a great job. Always giving back to the community. Get out to one of the 4 Newbies, have a great time. Newbies 2 on the Curve, the place to go watch all sporting events. Let's take this phone call. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning. Who is this?
Greg.
Hey, Mayor. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I was listening to the so long ago now. When you were discussing last night, I sent you a text. I don't know if you ever saw it, but did you guys watch that North Dakota State Montana State game last night?
Yes,
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice that I think they went almost 2 quarters without a penalty? Nobody was jumping off sides. I mean, those were 2 disciplined teams. Yeah, they're not, the giant schools, top 5, whatever schools, but amazing college football. I mean, I bet there wasn't one person out there getting a check, maybe. I doubt it. But it was an example of what our college football used to be.
Yeah, you're right.
100%, yeah. And I think it was North Dakota State. I mean, they're one of the top programs in the history of college football. I think that's their 10th national championship.
That's their 10th championship in 14 years.
And that's their, third coach that's won one?
Yeah. They're like a machine. They're really. I'm with you, Mr. Mayor. They're really well coached. I really enjoy watching.
I'm reading your text right now. I'll read it on air live here in a second.
No, you won't.
That's pretty good.
But it was, that was exactly. It's what it used to be like, And I just couldn't believe, or I can believe, did that guy really get paid to play half of a game?
Supposedly he got paid $4 million. The guy who sent that to me didn't say if it was just for the half or for intent was to play the whole game. Either way, I want that guy's agent because $4 million for a half. I mean, that's great work if you can get it. Are you kidding?
I just can't see that.
Well, I don't think they would have paid him up front, so
yeah,
they can do a deep discount on that check.
I don't think his initially an ideal was worth $4 million. I think it was like 1.6 or something. So it's hard for me to believe they paid him $4 million for a meaningless game. There's a lot of numbers that get thrown around with NIL that are completely false. We did a top 20 where Oregon wasn't even on the list, Michigan wasn't even on the list, and they're probably 2 of the top spenders right now in all of college football. So it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not.
They need to have a good, if there is such a thing, of course my daughter's one, but a lawyer on the other side for the school or whoever that says, guess what, we're not paying you. Sue me. and don't give him a nickel and let him, just realize that's the real business world. But when you don't perform, you don't get paid. You can't reward bad behavior.
Right.
I mean, we're instilling the worst things in these kids now because they think that it's a things already got me. They think that that's the way life is going to be from here on out.
Yeah.
And to prescribe to some of the things that they're doing and getting away with now, such a young age, they're in for a rude awakening. It needs to change quickly.
Yeah, they're so, I don't know what the word to use, but if you had the commissioner of the SEC, the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC get together and say, this is what we're going to do. Our conference will not accept or offer scholarships to transfers. We're not going to do it. I don't think you can be sued for that. I don't. No, if they all did that, hell, they would have no place to go.
Every time the NCAA has been sued, they've lost tremendously. I mean, that's the only reason they don't enforce any laws. That's why tampering's not being enforced.
But I'm serious. I think they could do that. The SEC had a rule one time.
If they could do that before, you're not supposed to pay people, then how?
Yeah.
Why can't they put that in place? And you can transfer once. You don't like it? Too bad.
But the SEC used to have a rule where you could not transfer to another school in the conference.
Right.
And then they saw these great players going up to the Big Ten. And they said, well, we're hurting ourselves. Let's don't have that anymore. It's all greed.
Nick Saban won that Tennessee middle linebacker in the rule change.
Georgia, well, he was mad when we lost one kid to Georgia. but seriously, greed has killed us.
Greg, you're a Florida State guy. You may be able to speak on this because I've been kind of out of the loop here because the holidays and all this. But I saw that at Florida State there are 6 basketball players that are suing Leonard Hamilton because they supposedly didn't get their NIL deal from his business associate, whoever that person is. Do you have any insight on that? Do you know anything about that? Is that really happening? Are they getting their money? Are they still on the team? Do you know anything about that?
The only thing that I know about that is exactly what I saw on YouTube, which was just a 2.5, 3 minute blurb, and I'm not sure how much of it was or wasn't true, so I probably can't add anything to the conversation.
Right.
Except what you just said is exactly what was said there. And that's just, that is nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You're talking about that thing to just take your mind totally off basketball. How can Leonard look one of those guys in the face while they're out there practicing or in the game, and he's not playing this guy, and everybody's going to be, all this stuff's going to be running through their mind. Well, he's not playing me because I'm suing him, and
right.
and this and that, and they're already inexperienced as hell at that age, so it doesn't take anything to throw them off track. So the whole team suffers, the whole school suffers. Money's is just an evil thing when used the wrong way, and it's terrible because it is ruining, and you expect something bad to happen every minute.
Let me ask you this.
I can't believe it.
Back when Bear Bryant was coaching, Woody Hayes, even back when Bobby Bowden Spurrier were coaching, why was it okay back then that you didn't have to pay a player? And I heard people going, well, it's not the big money like it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s when Alabama had huge money back then compared to that time frame. So did Ohio State. So did Michigan. That was big money back for that time. And people go, oh, it's not the big money like it is today. Bull crap. They were making big money. They were on national TV. They had huge stadiums. It was big money for that time. So if you think that, I think something's wrong, people that have that, or I think you're wrong on that. But it was okay then not to play players. Your scholarship was your reward. Why all of a sudden now is that illegal? You have to pay them. Why the university goes, no, we're not going to pay them. If they all stood together and go, we're not going to pay you, we're going or pay them and we're not going to let you transfer. We do it to ourselves. We don't stand up for the right things anymore.
The consequences. They don't think about the consequences. Nobody thinks ahead about what is this? What could this possibly cause? What it causes more ways for agents to make money.
Yeah. Yep.
There's more people out there now that they can make money off of that they may never, ever make it to the pros, and the agent still gets paid a big chunk of money off a guy that ends up working in a grocery store.
Right.
It is just, it's ridiculous.
I think of yesterday, there's 4,000 players in the
I think it's more than that.
I think it's more now, but that was just a reading when I was, and I think like 40% won't find a team or
That's
something.
What I'm saying,
I mean,
they listen to some idiot.
And you got a kid like Damon Wilson at Georgia, definitely going to start this year, was in their rotation this year, and all of a sudden he's transferring. And why do you think he's getting that transfer portal? It's not because he can't play at Georgia. It's because he wants to go out there and test the market and see how much money another team will offer him.
I'm not against him getting paid money.
I'm not. In fact,
I think that's great. But the leaving, the transfer, not playing.
But you know what I am against? Putting that money on the fans who already buy tickets, parking passes, and go to the games. You want us to donate and pay Jeremiah Smith millions of dollars when you're making $100 million, and the whole reason that we supposedly had to pay players because you were making so much money off of them, and it was so unfair. Now you're passing that on to the fans again.
Greg, let me ask you this real quick.
Who is that person relying on to go ahead and make that decision? He doesn't have the experience to make that decision. He's been convinced by an agent, I can guarantee you're going to get this. And if the kid's never seen more than $15 in his life, and all of a sudden he's going to get this big chunk of money, and guess what? You could play one more year, blow that knee out, and never be able to play again.
Right, and have no college degree.
They set them up. They set them up. They're vulnerable clients. Yeah. They can take somebody and just twist and turn them, and their parents, don't know, any different either. All they know is all of a sudden he has the chance to do this, and let's go ahead and take that opportunity now because all these other bad things can happen in the meantime if you don't do it. Strike while the iron's hot, blah, blah, blah. And all he's really thinking about is that 1099 payday.
Let me ask you this, and we got to take a break. A lot of people my age that I talk to, gyms, restaurants, stuff like that love college. I mean, love college football. They're getting a sour taste in their mouth. They're going, and it's not the money. It's the transferring. The kids not being committed to the university and just leaving and not playing in bowl games, not practicing, things like that. That's turning all these people off. Are you hearing that, the same people you're around? Are they thinking the same way?
Absolutely. I mean, you're turning people into a prima donna. It's like I've already done all these things. I've got to the point that I've signed this big contract, so I'm, quote, I'm good enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to get any better.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't have the experience of having their butt kicked enough times to realize they can't stop practicing, and that they do need to get better, and that the competition is going to be better. And when they get out of the world, it's going to be a lot tougher. And that's what the Sabans of the world teach people. And now, when you've got some players making as much or more than the coaches at a young age, yeah, Jay ain't going to tell me what to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know more than he does. I make more money than he does.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going
Come
on.
on.
Hey, you want to hold
Don't
on? You
think
got to
it doesn't
go.
happen. I got to go.
All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Have a great day, Mayor. All right, let's talk.
Okay.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The college football playoffs continue Thursday with Notre Dame versus Penn State in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Coverage starts at 6. Then Friday, semifinal action with Ohio State versus Texas in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Airtime at 6 right here on your home for college football on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a brisk wind out of the north around 9 miles per hour and temps near 49. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be slightly above freezing at 35. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 52 with a gentle breeze. Mostly sunshine Thursday with a temp of 52. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $41.99 a month. Cut the cord, not the fun. To get Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the Lucid TV logo.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
He doesn't try on clothes at the department stores. He just rips stuff off the hanger and lives with the consequences for years.
It's classy, it's intriguing.
He's sexy, sassy, and full of spunk.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking about how college football has gotten. And listen, we're not, let me how to say this, we're not against the players at all. And that's all we've done our whole lives is coach high school football players, which is even tougher now to get a scholarship because of the transfer deal. It's really difficult for these high school coaches to get these high school players a scholarship compared to when we played. But let me tell you something. In the old days, when you went and played, I had players that had no business maybe academically going to school because their grades weren't high enough, and sometimes we got them in and they got that scholarship, and some of them never got a degree. But what they learned there, and I know this firsthand, what they learned there, the self-discipline, the sacrifice, to never give in, to never quit, those things they learned helped them in life to become successful, even though they didn't get that scholarship or didn't get that college degree. And most of them did get that college degree. You go to university, the relationship you have with your teammates, the guys I room with and our suite mates there, we're lifelong friends. We talk to each other all the time. One died, we drove straight out to Colorado Springs before he died, and the other three were there. It's just a bond that you can't explain. It's kind of like a military deal. You've gone together.
Right.
You fight, and your coaches where you're like, you loved them, and you loved them, you hated them. They treated you hard. They kick you in the butt. But the work ethic you learn there And it was all about the team, the betterment of the team. Know your role. Your time will come if you do the right things. And you went to the schools back in that time because that's where you wanted to play, that guy you wanted to play for, that school you wanted to play for. I do remember our coaches telling us, don't go to play for a coach. That coach might get fired. Go play at Alabama, Auburn, for my part, Southern Mississippi, or FSU, somewhere like that, because you love the school.
Right.
Make sure it's a good fit for you. Because you used to not quit. You were looked down upon if you left and transferred out, and then you have to sit out a year. But now they lose all that. They lose the self-discipline. And how are they going to get a college degree when you're at a different school every other year? That's the part I hate. It's not so much them making money. That's fine. But I always wanted them to be hungry, where they would, get that degree, knowing if they get that degree, they have opportunity to make money. A lot of them being lied to by agents. A lot of them are lied to by family members. Some of the family members they're not even close to. All of a sudden, they know they got a Division I player. All of a sudden, your uncle and aunt want some of that money you got.
Right.
You got to be careful from that. So that's the things we're upset about, that what they're not getting anymore. In the old days, I never saw an Alabama football player go up to a football and kick it when the referee set it in play and blew the whistle. I never saw an Alabama player when Bear Bryant coached there or Nick Saban coached there where they go get off the field and they tell them no.
Yeah,
I never saw that.
And they let them play.
I never, the lack of, and I got something more on this in Alabama. It's not just Alabama. You see it across the board now. We've lost that. We're losing the discipline in society. Look at now. Hell, we kill each other.
Well, the mayor made the point. You got kids making as much as the coach. So how do you think he feels when he tells them to get up at 6 a.m. and go run in 32-degree weather? Nah, I don't feel like it. Yeah. What are you going to do to him? Get rid of him? I mean, no, he's making $6 million, so he can do pretty much whatever he wants.
And I truly believe this is not going to be able to keep on going like this. I haven't think really wealthy men that got wealthy because they were smart businessmen. I don't see giving money away for somebody to come play football.
Well, this is not what NIL is supposed to be about, because these kids aren't famous. They're not selling jerseys. They're not working for Papa John's or anything. This is totally pay for play. You're a big-time high school recruit. We'll figure out what the NIL is about, but we're going to pay you up front to come here because you're talented. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with NIL. Yeah. It's flushing money down the toilet because you don't get a return on your investment. They're not making money outside of that, so you're not going to get your money back. So I don't think this is sustainable. We just don't have a commissioner right now. We don't have any structure within college football. That's why everybody keeps talking about Nick Saban, which I'm not opposed to. I do think there should be a Big Ten representative there because,
No, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
I love Nick Saban, but he still has deep SEC ties and the connection with Alabama.
He coached at Michigan State, Ohio State.
Not very long, though.
I think he'd be fair and balanced.
Well, put Barry Alvarez next to him and we'll be happy.
I could live with that.
Yeah.
And
I think they would make the right decisions, and I think we would have structure that would make sense for everybody if we did that.
You and I are about the same age. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
You played, you went through it, then you went back and coached that level. I miss that.
Yeah, it's not the same. It just isn't. When you just see guys just willy-nilly just jumping from one team to the next, like we're going to talk about somebody, at Auburn. This will be his fourth college. The guy, Jaden Rashada at Georgia, he's going to go to the portal again. This is his fifth team, and he's a sophomore in college.
And he was offered $13 million at Florida.
Come on. Yeah, he never went to Florida. He was offered $13 million, and they reneged on him, and then he just...
I wish we knew the real truth, how much they're really getting made.
Yeah.
Instead of this.
I don't believe any of these numbers, really.
I don't either.
Because unless you got a super booster like Miami or Phil Knight, there's just not that much money out there.
All right, I want to shift gears real quick. We had this situation happen in New Orleans. Kirby gets ready to go play a bowl game. His dad falls, breaks his hip, and is dying, basically. And Kirby knew what was going on, had to coach that football game. God bless him for that. I kind of went through the same thing one time at Cape Coral, found out my dad had died, and we coached the game that night and then came home. That was really hard to do. So I feel for him. Kirby's dad was a great man. But I want to get to New Orleans. I was down there for a wedding, and I told you about how much better it was, and everybody's talking about we got the Super Bowl coming. We got to make sure we keep that. We got to, that was a big focus. They dropped the ball.
You think?
On safety. I saw the video where that truck turned from the Canal Street onto Bourbon Street. I've walked that thousands of times.
Yeah, we all have.
And it's incredible. And I listened to that police chief talk, and I wanted to just like, shut up.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
No, you're lying.
Yeah. I mean, and these families, these people that died, it's just, they're there to have a good time. One kid from Montgomery, Alabama, I didn't know him, but I think I knew kind of the family. And Auburn did a great thing with their basketball game. They had a picture of his up there on the scoreboard and everything like that, a moment of silence and all that kind of stuff. But you go to New Orleans to a bowl game, you got to worry about somebody running over and killing you. Are they going to ban all the trucks? I'm just curious.
Banning trucks is the next step.
That's the next thing, and no more trucks.
All the red flags that they had over the many years that he was posting and talking about stuff that could have, talked to him and arrested him then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because all these have these little weird things that happen.
I ain't heard anything about drones lately.
Yeah, but all these little situations, even the Las Vegas thing, the Tesla truck blowing up, they all have some weird things where the FBI either knew ahead of time.
That's what I was getting to the Super Bowl. I guarantee you they'll have everything ready, though, for the Super Bowl.
But supposedly they were 2 weeks into having everything completed. 2 weeks was
they took them down. But it's not that just blew my mind when I saw that. That's kind of strange. I just didn't like their excuses and stuff like that. It really upset me.
Yeah, like their lies.
But the Super Bowl is so big, they got to keep that. And I do believe it'll be safe for the Super Bowl. So if you're going to go to the Super Bowl, have you seen the ticket prices for that?
That's why it's going to be safe.
They'll be all millionaires there watching that game. It won't be like us down there. But anyway, but getting back to Kirby, can you imagine, though, what they went through? And like you pointed out, maybe it was better they did lose. It doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Right.
They did lose the ball game. He got to stay there. He had to be with his family when his dad died.
Yeah.
And David Pollock was talking about the other day that George has always he's kind of like Dabo. He wants to recruit the players, develop them, but he's changed and he knows what's going on now. Georgia might sign 30 transfer players this year.
That's what Pollock said. I mean, they did hit on a lot of receivers. They hit the Branch brothers.
They're
talking about Noah Thomas, the 6'6"
two of the best players in the country
from Texas A&M. I mean, that's another.
No, I'm talking about two. One from USC, and the other brother, they got him committed as a corner, which was a 4-star, and a receiver from USC, which I want to say was the number 4 player overall in the country.
Yeah, they're the Branch brothers. He's a safety and the slot wide receiver. But they're also talking about they're the favorites to add Noah Thomas, 6'6" wide receiver from Texas A&M too. So they're upgrading that wide receiver room. So
they need to do something.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about them now? I'm you know what? I'm glad with it. I'm okay with this. 5 years eligibility. That's it. You can go play 5. In the old days, you could play 5. You could play 4 with 5 years. You could be redshirted.
Right.
Now they can play 5 years. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't either.
I mean, you got guys
to me, that's enough. Okay.
We had 8th-year seniors this year.
Yeah, exactly.
5 seems like a good.
And then you have guys. Well, I'm going to sue to play another year because I didn't have grades. I had to go to junior college. I still don't understand that one. That's beyond me.
Well, see, in the old days, it was real important to be on track to get your degree. That was part of all these things you do, your standings and all this kind of stuff. And now you don't hear them talk about that. There's anything about getting a college degree. It's like, and so I hope they save their money, because you think $1 million is a lot of money. It is. It's a lot of money.
Oh, for sure.
But when you give half of it to your family and your brothers and sisters and an agent and stuff like that, and you pay taxes, that's not going to last them a lifetime.
But that's also why I'm frustrated with the Cam Ward situation. Like, I don't have any problem with Cam Ward. He should do what's best for him and his family. But you got paid at least $1.6 million. That's the factual number we got out for playing for Miami last year when he was in the portal. And everybody's like, well, what if he got hurt? Well, $1.6 million is a lot of money. If he got hurt, that's a nice little windfall for you to be able to live off of. So I just hated that he didn't come back in for that last series when you're down a score. You obviously saw the backup quarterback.
He was going to come in.
Just as a competitor, there's no way you could have kept me off the field at that point. That's my brother's. It's the last game of the season. It creates a lot of momentum for recruiting going into the end of the year to win 10 games like that. And just to see the quarterback struggle there and you not step in and try to take over and win that game.
Can you imagine playing back when we did? Hey, I'm going to save my body. I'm not going to play the second half. I'm done.
Kind of like the running back at Tennessee tapping out in the first quarter.
It was a little different. He was scared.
Let's see, our quarterback, this guy's helmet cracked. I'm not playing. My hammy's kind of
All right, let's take a break. We get back, we'll talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide, what's going on up there. They got to fix some things in 2025 if you want to. You got to win at Alabama. Bottom line, 9-4 is not going to get it done to the University of Alabama. And let's talk about a couple of things when we get back on the Crimson Tide. But right now, let's talk about some of our great people. Max Fitzworth Nutrition. Do you want to feel better, look better? Jason Kovaleski can make that happen for you. 2 great locations from Pier Park on 23rd Street. Hey, we talk about it all the time. Skin cancer. 1 in 5 develop it. It can be deadly. If it doesn't look right, feel right, don't put it off. Go see Dr. Ward. His office is throughout the Panhandle of Florida. Dr. Ward does an incredible job. Listen to him every Wednesday right here at 7:30. And we'll be getting a call, I think, from him from Japan. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Also, Paparazzi Pizza. You love pizza, only one place to go. That is Paparazzi. They do an incredible job. They got 3 restaurants in one. They got a deli that's unbelievable. They got the pizza there. And then they have a bakery that's the best in Bay County. The best cakes you'll get anywhere. The Paradise Cake, the Napoleon, the Carrot Cake. They've got it all right down there at Paparazzi. They also now have a bar in there. Go have a great time. Paparazzi Pizza on Thomas Drive. We think you'll absolutely love it. Now, the big game Thursday night and Friday night. Get down to the Cajun Place. $5 pitchers when it kick off. They got the best wings anywhere. The food's incredible. 27-plus TVs. That Cajun Place on Thomas Drive. Thursday night, 6:30. Penn State versus Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. And then the big one on Friday, the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State Buckeyes versus Texas Longhorns. Kickoff is at 6:30. Be there, get that $5 pitchers, and get you some good wings at that Cajun Place. Are we going to go to any of them, Jason?
I want to go to the Cotton Bowl.
No, I'm talking about Cajun Place. We can pretend
we can go down there.
If we do, it has to be Thursday, because I think I'm going to watch that other one by myself.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
I like to be at home for that one.
I did too.
All right, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the ESPN Northwest Florida Hall and Arts Magic Express. We're taking a busload of sports fanatics on the ultimate road trip to watch the Orlando Magic play the Sacramento Kings March 29th at the Kia Center. Plus hotel and food during the game. Just open the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Enter Contest. Sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Holland Arts, and Fairfield Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I'd like to introduce.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
Milk was a bad choice.
If I could just have your attention.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
If anyone wants to switch jobs, let me know.
Live from the J. Michaels studio.
I have many leather-bound books.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide, roll! Alabama Update is brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning. You better listen, and you better listen closely. If you're having problems right now heating or cooling that house, and you know it's freezing out there right now, 32 degrees, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. I guarantee you when they leave there, your house will be warm, and you're going to be glad you called them. It's Stevenson Air Conditioning. It's locals, taking care of locals. They're number one at what they do. They do an incredible job. Don't go with anybody else. Don't sit there and spend all that money on your power bill and freeze. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning. It's worth your time. It's worth every penny. I'm telling you that right now. Stevenson Air Conditioning is number one. Alabama Crimson Tide. I want to get. Let me cover all the stuff, then I'll ask you guys what you think. But I want to get this in. Alabama, some things they need to fix in 2025, in my opinion. Number one thing is discipline, and I'm talking about discipline for the players. I'm talking about discipline for the coaches. Alabama averaged 8.9 penalties per game, the 7th highest in college football, 7th highest across the board in all of college football. Not a good look when a player is fighting your biggest rival, Auburn. Not only were they fighting, they were told 3 or 4 times to get off the field. They wouldn't leave the field. They wouldn't listen to their coaches. They wouldn't listen to their teammates. And they're fighting. That was against Auburn. Tennessee, all the penalties against Tennessee. But go to the Vanderbilt game. The Vanderbilt game, Moore, one of your captains, which I love him, is a good kid, all of a sudden he's freaking out because Bama's getting beat, the number 1 team in the country at that time. They're getting beat by Vandy. What does he do? He runs over there and kicks the football out of play.
Well, Charlie Brown.
And then the players try to talk to him, and he shoves them off. Then the coaches try to get him off the field. He won't come. Did he get punished? He started the next week after all that. I couldn't believe that. Now, let's look at the Tennessee game. Alabama versus Tennessee. 15 penalties in that game. A minus 115 yards against Alabama because of the 15 penalties they got, okay? That's what I'm talking about, self-discipline, the coaches, the players. That's got to improve. You can't, I know things have changed. You can't discipline like you used to. Kirby Smart still does. He still coaches the same way. And I think you have to continue to be what you are.
And you forgot the one against Michigan where the linebacker got put on his back by that tight end from Michigan. He gets up and swings at him.
Michigan's JV team drove him into the ground, put him on his back. What does he do? He punches him in the helmet. What happens? 15-yard penalty against Bama, and they keep the ball.
Right. They didn't score. They didn't cost him. Michigan didn't score because of that, but it gave him a first down.
Yeah.
And, we always talk about as coaches, when players do stupid stuff like that, it's like you're just being selfish. You're not thinking about the team. You're thinking about your individual battle with whoever, and it affects everybody.
The Michigan game, I got to give them credit, and Michigan Eddie. He's a first-class guy.
Yeah.
He has not rubbed it in. They beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama. They played their JV team against Alabama. Their best players didn't play the players you saw against Ohio State in that game.
They didn't play.
They didn't even play against Alabama, and we still got beat. They ran the ball 51 times. Alabama, we threw it 40-something times again, drop back passing. There's things I don't understand what's going on. 3 weeks to get ready, and that's where our production. Now, the turnover is what kills. We don't turn over the ball. As bad as it was, you look at the statistic, we don't turn the ball over, we probably beat them. We would beat them.
Just a terrible
but that's
start.
part of the game.
That was the bad start. 17-0, I think it was, 16-0.
But fourth, we drive the ball, get it about to midfield. 4th down, and I think it was 2 or 3. We decided to go for it. We know they don't have a lot of their good offensive players. We know their offense is not very good. Their quarterback's not. I'm sorry, he's not that good at Michigan.
No,
we ought to punt the ball, pin them inside the 20, stop them, make them punt, play field position. You're going to have better success doing that, in my opinion. He didn't do it. All right, DeBoer. It's not about the process. I don't know how to even explain it. He's a player's coach. Times have changed. I think he's changing with them. But I still think you got to coach them hard. I really do. They're not going to play at Alabama. In the history of Alabama, we've always been a good defensive football team, a physical football team. I don't think we're physical anymore on either side of the ball. But it all starts with self-discipline, and I think they got to be disciplined. I know you got to walk a fine line now because they can transfer out. I know that's where he's coming from. They can leave us. We got to kind of be careful. I think you just got to be who you are and not worry. If they leave, they leave. Just go get somebody else and bring them in. I couldn't coach today.
If you coach players hard and they leave, that's not the type of player you want in your program.
I'm with you.
I mean, we've been doing this for years. I mean, Saban, Urban, they processed a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of guys transferred out because they didn't want to buy in and work as hard as they wanted them to.
Number 2 thing I have, time management. Versus Georgia, you're up big. I mean, we were up big. I've always been hard. At Cape Coral and Lake Wales, before we had a timer on the field, I'd milk it as long as I could.
For sure.
We play good defense. We're going to keep the ball away from their offense. If we win by 6 points, or 7 points, 3 points, we still won the ball game. At Alabama, when they were playing Georgia in the second half, they're up. We had them up. We were up big time on Georgia. We were snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the clock. I noticed, I said, and this wasn't just one time. It was like almost an entire game. I'm like, what is he doing?
Right.
Nick Saban's the master of this. Clock management is something they got to do a better job. And that's also going with coach's discipline and knowing what the hell's going on. They had a first-time offensive coordinator.
It showed.
Sheraton, yeah. I really hope he hires a guy from Seattle that used to be his offensive coordinator. Keep Sheridan, but make this guy come back and be the true offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But we didn't drain the clock when we had leads the entire year. It got better, I think, as the year went on, but that's a big major thing. Play calling. Alabama made no adjustments at halftime. I don't think they made adjustments really hardly any. I do think the defense got better as the year went on. I do think that side of the ball did a better job.
They look good against Michigan. I mean, Michigan's going to test your manhood and run right at you. They have an identity. They know who they are. They're not going to deviate from that. And I thought Alabama stood up to them. But
in the Vanderbilt game, the players, even in the media, were going like, we didn't get our play calls in time.
Right.
We were standing around looking, and they're not telling us what to do against Vandy because they weren't used to that offense for whatever reason. But again, at least the defensive staff got things corrected as the year went on. Same thing with the offense. You're playing Tennessee. You're going to drop back and you throw it 50, 45 times. He's not a drop back passer. Everybody in the country knows it. I don't get it. Anyway, all right. Offense has got to be fixed for next year. We just talked about the offensive coordinator. I think they need to make a change there. They didn't get much out of Milroe. I don't think he got better from 2023 to 2024.
No.
I think he
had moments where he was real good, but then
But think about how the season went on.
Other ones not so much.
As the season went on, he went backwards. He didn't go forward. There was no improvement.
And we talked about this, before the show. I was really disappointed in Alabama's play calling as a whole. I mean, you got a guy who's a dynamic athlete playing quarterback. I'm not just saying this. I really believe this. To me, he's like the best offensive weapon if he's used right in college football. You can't stop him.
Right.
Look what he did at LSU. Look what he did things.
What about the counter pass?
And then there's other games. It's like, remember all that stuff when you ran the ball 20 times against LSU and ran for 190 yards? Well, we're not going to do that now. It's like they're doing it like they're trying to make a point or something.
I just thought they were trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. We know Milroe's not the greatest passer. He's not Penix. They still try to run that offense. They ran at Washington last year. I never thought that. But there was a 3-game stretch around that LSU game like you're talking about where they were actually running the quarterback, had a lot of design quarterback runs, and they looked dominant again.
And they got away from it.
And I was like,
You're paying a coach, a coordinator, over $1 million a year. And when a defense would shut down Williams, number 2 freshman receiver, when you shut him and take him out of the ball game, we had no answer.
That's true.
You're talking at the University of Alabama, we had no answer what to do with the football when they shut down that one player.
You know what I was thinking when I was watching Alabama late in the year? It looked like they were trying to get Milroe taped for the NFL. Because if they were running an offense that was truly to win the game, it'd be more like what you would see from Navy or Army. It'd be more like a triple option, with some, deep passing. Because Milroe was good at the deep passing. But they were still trying to...
I never thought about that, but there could be truth in that.
Well, I mean, a lot of coaches do that. I mean, I think that's the reason you don't see Manning over Quinn Ewers. I mean, they invested a lot of time in this guy. He's projected to be a first-round pick. How do you bench him? You know what I'm saying? That would kill his NFL draft stock.
To me, early in the year, they wanted him to win the Heisman.
Right.
They get near the goal line, and they would let him run. When they were playing Wisconsin, some of those teams, and they looked hot at the beginning of the year, and then people started saying, we got to take number 2 out of the ball game. We need to double cover, whatever. And like I said, we had no options for that. I want to talk about the offensive line play, too. Lack of a running game, lack of imagination. If I'm a great running back, why would you go to Alabama? This is the first time since 2000. Let me say it again. The first time since 2000 that nobody rushed for more than 750 yards.
Are you kidding?
Nobody rushed for more than 750 yards, Alabama.
I didn't know that.
And they had some top-end running backs.
The whole year, the entire year. 13 games, they played 13 games. They only rushed the ball for 2,260 yards in 13 football games.
But then they average 5.7 yards a carry or 6 yards a carry or something crazy.
The running backs never got to run the ball.
I know. That's why Justin Haynes is in Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's just a few things I think they need to fix for 2025.
Yeah, they need some major overhaul on
I
offense.
think the first thing is the quarterback that fits their system. I mean, until you get that in place, I just don't see it being successful. And I don't see Milroe being draftable. In all honesty, who's going to draft him to lead a quarterback and be their franchise quarterback?
Now, saying all those negative things I said, well, it's not really not negative. They were really, truly things they've got to get to fix. But saying all that, I will say this. Your first year as a head football coach is the hardest year you'll ever have. The next year it's going to get better, and the year after it's going to get better. If it doesn't, he'll be gone.
This is why everybody always says never follow a legend, because you're going to have the most scrutiny. Everybody's going to think you better be like Saban, or else you're not any good. Fire him. So
if Saban got a lead, they hardly ever lost a game in the second half when they got a lead because he knew. I mean, you weren't getting many opportunities. They're going to finish games by running the ball.
You saw the Ohio State game. They played a lot of deep zone coverages. They let Oregon drive the field. They weren't taking shots down the field. They just drained the clock in the second half because they're up 34-8. So they just squeezed the life out of the game. There was no way Oregon had enough time to come back in that game. So,
all right, let's talk about some of our great, outstanding sponsors. We love every single one of you. Get out to Newbies, 4 great locations. Charlotte, love that beautiful woman. Big John looked gorgeous also.
Saw him yesterday.
Always, you see him playing racquetball?
Yeah.
He can go. You see his hairdo? I'm used to it. He's used to it now. I wasn't used to it before.
Thought he was going to come up and hit me.
Yeah, he looks good. He really does look good. They take great care of themselves, take a lot of pride in the way they look. Their business the same way. They're going to be the best at what they do. They're going to have the best bands in the Southeast at the Mothership every weekend. Go have a great time at one of the 4 locations. Get out to Newbies, support them. They're always giving back to the community. Newbies 2 in the Curve. Go watch all sporting events down there and tell them Coach sent you. All the great newbies. Also, don't forget about, where am I at? Hell. Oh, Local 115. I hadn't even talked about them yet. I apologize for that. The Vandergrift family, legendary family. Don's coach forever, and his wife, Judy, principal, superintendent. She did an incredible job. Ran for superintendent, should have won. But a wonderful lady. I didn't realize this. She's a commissioner over at Lynn Haven also. Beautiful lady, great family. Kyle and some of his great buddies, they got partners that do an incredible job down there at the Local 115 in the historical downtown Panama City. They're going to have a new oyster bar with a sports team. It's going to be incredible. Oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbo, soup, salads, you name it, wings, ice cold beer, nothing fries, kind of a healthier option. We'll be down there every Saturday when this thing opens up, and we're getting closer and closer. Go check it out, the Local 115, and we'll have Kyle on and some of his partners on before they open up to talk about it. But the Local 115 in historical downtown Panama City. We'll be right back. 104.3 Auburn Tigers, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The college football playoffs continue Thursday with Notre Dame versus Penn State in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Coverage starts at 6. Then Friday, semifinal action with Ohio State versus Texas in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Airtime at 6 right here on your home for college football on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a brisk wind out of the north around 9 miles per hour and temps near 49. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be slightly above freezing at 35. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 52 with a gentle breeze. Mostly sunshine Thursday with a temp of 52. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true. I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control. Our family protecting your family.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Bonafide and qualified.
Live and local from the J. Michael Studio.
Certified.
On the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Martha, Kenny, James, Jenna. All you Auburn Tigers, you got to be happy about Auburn basketball right now. Maybe the best team in college. They might win it all in basketball. They're really good. Very talented team. We'll get into basketball more. Andy Burcham, we'll have him on Thursday, 8:15. We'll talk a lot about the Auburn basketball program.
They beat us so bad, I thought they stole our sign.
I
thought Alabama was the new SEC basketball power. They did make the Final Four last year.
The state of Alabama is.
They're
the state
good,
of Alabama
Both
is.
of them are good.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Alabama's pretty good in basketball.
How about Kentucky Wildcat? You gonna let him talk about this?
They're old school. They're done.
I might put Tennessee in with that group, but Alabama, Auburn are a step above, in my opinion, in the SEC. When Alabama plays their A game and not turning it over and play a little defense, they're really.
You get the feeling that Kentucky's like Alabama football. They've seen their better days.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think the coach is a little bit better this year, but I just don't think they have the top end talent that Alabama and
Kentucky's just getting old.
Shut up.
Getting old.
You're going to drive him to that mason jar a little early
old
today.
and decrepit.
Take me to the train station.
Yeah. That's right. Take him to the train station.
All right, here we go again. Great news for Auburn. We talk about it all the time. Recruiting is outstanding. Transfer players, outstanding. Auburn's doing a great job. Now it's time to put some wins on the board. They've got to win football games next year. This big edge player, Chris Murray, commits to Auburn over FSU and other teams. Now, he played a little school, Sam Houston, but the kid has 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's a great football player. Watch some tape on him. The kid's got a good body, can move. I think it's a big pickup for Auburn. And that's what you're going to see going forward. Some of these smaller schools, they're going to get good players. They're going to develop them. And they're going to lose them to these bigger schools. This is going to happen more and more often. And that's the reason I think the guy that was at one of the schools, Eastern Kentucky West, somewhere said, hell, I don't want to play a big-time school in a spring game because they see what we got and they want to take some of our players. Right. Kind of what's happened with Sam Houston. I don't know what kind of money he's getting with NIL or anything like that. All I know, he picked Auburn over FSU. Here's some things he said. Say, after visiting Auburn, very impressed. To me, it felt like home. It felt like family. Hugh Freeze, I went to his house. We had a great time, great relationship. I like the players. I like the coaches. I think they can develop me. I think they can take me to the next level. Obviously, he wants to play in the NFL, and he feels like Hugh Freeze and his staff can get him there. And he went on about Hugh Freeze's house and spending time with, I don't know, maybe he didn't realize they do that across the board. I mean, he did come from Sam Houston. I don't think he got that treatment. Maybe he was getting signed. But he was impressed with that. Here we go, Jim. And I watched this kid at Hoover High School, Robbie Ashford. I watched him play. I was up in the box there when his mother was there at a game in Alabama and her friend. And I only thought he was maybe going to be a junior that year, and it's early in the season. So I thought he would go to Bama, and I don't think Bama offered him. Right. He went to Auburn. But watching him play high school football.
He went to Oregon first.
Yeah, but Auburn recruited him, though. I don't think Alabama did. I think Alabama did, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
In South Carolina, now Wake Forest.
Then I really thought he was going to be a big-time SEC quarterback because he had all the tools. Of course, he was surrounded by really good players at Hoover. And he signed with Oregon, went to Auburn, went to South Carolina, backup quarterback. He played this past year in some games. He started 10 games his time at Auburn, 2022, 2023. He played some at South Carolina, and now this is his fourth school in 6 years. He'll be going to Wake Forest. Now, I'm sure he's online to get all his college degrees and college credit, too. Let's take this phone call from a great Auburn fan. This is one of Auburn's biggest fans. He loves the Auburn Tigers. Good morning, sir.
War Eagle. How are y'all doing?
War Eagle, baby. War Eagle.
I can do War Eagle because I did like Terry Bowden when he was up there, and I like Bo Jackson and all that. So, and the Big Hurt, So they put out some good guys. More than I can say about that other team up there. But anyway, how are you this morning?
We're doing great. Jim messed with my mic, and now I can't hear.
Well, you kind of scraggly too, if it was your mic. But I was calling because the great mayor that we had some great points. But
yes,
what I was thinking about, nobody even talks about these kids being student athletes anymore. Here's what I think may end up happening. They're just going to have a team make a professional 7-on-7 league that all these special athletes go to and play at or whatever, because right now they have no loyalty to a university, and everybody that's funding it, that's the reason they're funding it, is because they're loyal to the university. I mean, does that kind of make sense? Am I making a point, or am I just way out
You're
there?
making a great point. I was figuring. I was turning up a knob here. I'm sorry. I was listening to you though. Yeah, you're making a great point. Jim and I just talked about it off. Maybe it was off the air. We go. I'm sure he's lined up for all of his credits to graduate. Robbie Asher's been to 4 different schools in 6 years. I'm sure he's going to get a degree. How do you got to take certain classes at each university to get a degree?
Right.
It's not. That's done. That's over with. You used to have so many credits towards your degree, or you couldn't play.
But
they don't even talk
when
about
are they
that.
just going to get rid of the fact that these are student athletes? This is a professional
athletes.
sport. It's athletes. I don't think in the future,
Put them on contract.
future, I don't think these kids will have to go to class.
Not only that, I mean, you're supposed to be enrolled in the school,
Right.
Prior to the semester starting.
That's why the portal is when it is.
Well, that's why they're doing the transfers now. And I blame the coaches, too, because they were for it. They want a kid coming in early when they can go through winter workouts, go through spring football. I'm against that. If you're a transfer, you should stay the one full year, whatever school you sign, you got to stay there. And that way you go through another spring practice. Guess what? Things might have changed. You can stay where you're at. I don't think they should be able to leave in the
Oregon
semester.
Cal quarterback that flipped to Oregon on signing day. The Cal quarterback told him that he was staying because he was pissed off, excuse my language, at the offensive coordinator at Cal, which he was lying. He enters the draft. So now this kid, without even playing it down, without even practicing, entered the transfer portal and then transferred back to Cal in the same year. So that's where we're at college football.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if you're at school and you're not a student athlete and you want to go to a different school, you got to see what credits are going to transfer, if you got to take more classes to get in there. I mean, so really it doesn't have a darn thing to do with an education.
No, not anymore.
It absolutely does not.
The first time a kid got paid.
What are they waiting for? They get waiting for the lawsuits to all be settled, then they're going to come in and try to change things.
Well, every time the NCAA goes to court, they lose, period. I mean, it's it's so quick, it's fast. I mean, everything's being, catered, and I don't know how we got here because we've been doing this for 40 years. It's supposed to be an amateur sport. I don't know what changed that, but the NCAA can't win a court case. So they're just throwing their hands up and be like, okay, this is what you guys wanted. I think they're waiting for the government or somebody to come in, unions, whatever, the schools to make decisions, because when we go to revenue sharing, I think we're going to have a clear idea.
It's the revenue sharing.
Right.
That's what we're waiting
I think we're
on.
going to have a clear idea of how these kids are going to get paid, but the NILs are still going to be there, and there's nothing governing them.
I think once the revenue sharing is figured out, I do think that's when they're going to step in and try to correct these things. I truly believe they're going to be employees. That way they're under contract. They can't transfer out, and you can pay them X amount. Now, the NIL is going to be separate.
But I do think NILs now are getting smarter, and they're signing them to contracts that
think about it, Jason. I'm a businessman. I got all this money. I'm not an idiot.
Right.
We got him signed for a contract right now. He's under contract for us. Hell, I ain't got to pay him that money. He's there anyway.
Right.
So it's going to work out down the road, I think. If not, they're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
Hey guys. Yeah. Well, now it's a little clearer, but when y'all talk, y'all are really breaking up on the phone side anyway. So I didn't really get to hear the in-depth parts about that. But that was my point when Greg was calling in and talking about all that, and everything. And now you got students or players, athletes, whoever, suing the coaches, because, he promised me this and he promised me that. That, to me, that's all hearsay unless you got it in writing.
Right.
Right. So it's going to where they're going to drive the and you know, they're going to alienate the real true fans that maybe not all the money people, but they're going to alienate everybody, and where they're just going to turn off the TV and say, you know, my give a damn's gone. I don't care anymore, and y'all do with it. Y'all are destroying a great thing.
Yep, no doubt about that. Greed. Greed's good.
Yeah, greed is killing our country. Not only in this sport, but greed is killing our country.
The root of all evil.
Yep, it is. All right, Rob, thanks for calling, buddy.
All right, guys.
War Eagle.
Y'all
War
have a
Eagle.
great day.
War Eagle.
Well, all that being said, there were 21.1 million on average watching the Rose Bowl. Guys, this is about Benjamins. It's about the Benjamins. That's all it's about.
But if it keeps going down this road, I think the hardcore fans like us are really going to start to tune out because I don't know who's going to be on Ohio State's roster next year. It used to be I watched recruiting. I know this kid was going to be a sophomore.
You don't know who they are anymore.
You know, Caleb Downs is going to be a star. Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith can jump in the portal tomorrow and get $10 million from any college in the country. There's no guarantee he'll be there next year. Now, I think the NIL.
You hear the rumor on the street?
No, hold
on. The rumor on the street that Manning's going to North Carolina and that receiver Smith is going to North Carolina and be coached by the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Oh, where'd you
They're going to win a national championship. Go to North Carolina. Do you want to go to the league? They're going to pay you big time money.
They better have.
You heard it here
money.
first.
That's about a $20 million.
You heard it here first.
He's not Belichick. On to Cincinnati. On to Cincinnati.
On to Clemson.
On to Clemson. On to Wake Forest.
Hey, get down to Beef O'Brady's and have a great meal. Every Wednesday, 10 wings aside for $9.99. They treat you like family. Love Pat Perno. The city commissioner of Lynn Haven does an incredible job at Beef O'Brady's. They treat you like family. Love those people down there. Never had a bad meal. Always have a great time. TV's everywhere. Great place to go watch the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Go check it out. We think you'll love it. J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive, the best seafood, the coldest beer, the legendary J. Michael's. Just had a birthday. If you see him this week, wish him birthday. Happy birthday. He had it Saturday. I think he's 60 now. I don't know what he is, really. Stevenson Air Conditioning. It's cold outside. You need Stevenson Air Conditioning. Don't sit there and freeze. Don't sit there and spend all your money on your power bill. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning. Call a local company. They'll come out, and I guarantee you they'll solve all issues. Stevenson Air Conditioning is number one. For all your real estate closing, it's only Chuck Tucker. Ask the legendary Mark Cowart. That's the only people he uses South. He sells multi-million-dollar homes on 38. South Oak Title and Closing, number one, not even close. They do an incredible job. Just like the legendary Dr. Chad Mitchell, 25 years on Bay County sidelines. You had a lady get injured in the gym. She called. She's going to go see him. Terry, go see him. He'll do an incredible job. That is Dr. Chad Mitchell. Listen to him every Monday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back. 104.3. How did we do in our bowl picks? We'll tell you when we get back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Coming up tonight, Auburn is 13-1 on a 6-game win streak and ranked number 2 in the country. The Tigers travel to Texas to play the 11-3 Longhorns inside the Moody Center in Austin. Coverage coming up at 7:30, tip-off at 8. Listen live at ultra-high fidelity on your home for the Auburn Tigers and college basketball.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
The Women's Civic Club of Panama City Beach is celebrating 60 years of caring and sharing in our community with the Diamond Jubilee Gala Dance and Charity Auction. Come out, mingle with friends, dance to great music, bid on fun auctions, and support a worthy cause. The Diamond Jubilee Gala Dance and Charity Auction is Saturday, February 1st from 6 until 10 at the Boardwalk Beach Hotel and Convention Center, 9600 South Thomas Drive. For details, visit the Women's Civic Club, WCCPCB.com. PCBHobby.org.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Want to know the inside scoop on your favorite teams? From the gridiron to the hardwood to the diamond. For comprehensive sports coverage, it's ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
And welcome back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Stay warm today. Again, if you have any problems at the home, it's Stevenson Air Conditioning. Give them a call. They'll come out, and your home will work correctly. I guarantee you that. They'll take care of it. Stevenson Air Conditioning, #1. Just give them a call. All right, bowl picks. We had Jason, Jim, Jeremy, Glenn Manley, Brian, Dr. Ward, all picked these ball games, which really and truly, we didn't know who was going to be playing. It's like throwing darts.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
He's got the really true. I had inside information on all these teams.
Well, you must have, because you did a pretty good job. Here's the standings. I was 10-16. Jason, you were 9-16.
Blasphemy.
Jim, you were 7-16. Jeremy was 10-16. Glenn was 9-16. Brian was 10-16, and Dr. Ward was 10-16. We focused in on the SEC, and let's go over this real quick. You had Florida beating Tulane, Gasparilla Bowl. Florida wins that ball game 33-8, and that was played on December 20th. December 27th, Las Vegas Bowl. At Big Ten, let me tell you what, the Big Ten dominated the SEC. Matter of fact, let me go this real quick. Independents were 3-0. Who cares? AAC, they were 6-1. The MAC was 4-2. The Big Ten, 8-5. They killed the SEC. I think they were 4-1 against the SEC. Might have been better. I'll go that later. SEC, they have it 8-6. I thought they were 7-6. Sun Belt was 3-3. Big 12, 4-5. Conference USA, 1-3. Mountain West, 1-4. The ACC,
yikes,
pathetic. It was a joke.
Wait, 2-11?
2-10. 2-10. Pac-2, they were 0-1. they were 0-1.
They should have played each other.
All right, getting into the Big Ten, they took care of business in the Las Vegas Bowl. They beat Texas A&M, not South Carolina, USC 35, Texas A&M 31. In the Liberty Bowl, Arkansas got it done. They beat Texas Tech 39-26. In the Armed Forces Bowl, Navy beats Oklahoma 21-20. I think he's on the hot seat.
He's got to be.
Birmingham Bowl, this kind of surprised me. Vandy got it done. They beat Georgia Tech 35-27. They had tornado warnings outside Birmingham. That was a bad day, but still they had a great crowd there. I was surprised. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, the quarterback played a half a game, didn't play anymore. They get beat by Iowa State 42-41. Music City Bowl, Missouri gets it done. Missouri looked good. They win 27-24 over Iowa. Then on December 31st, the Texas Bowl, LSU 44, Baylor 31.
Watch out for them next year. Their portal has been amazing.
Number one in the nation.
Yeah.
Number one in the nation.
If Nussmeier can come back and have any type of form that they thought he was going to be, they're going to be a team to beat in the SEC.
Well, he better be. Look what's going on in Notre Dame. December 31st, the Citrus Bowl. Again, the Big Ten gets it done. All right, let's talk about this one. What happened? Beamer threw a fit. Bielema was taunting him. I don't know what happened. I like Beamer. I like Beamer.
So they did talk about this after the game. So everybody thought it was about the substitution and that he was taunting them about substituting, because what was happening is South Carolina was just substituting a second round of people late. So Bielema was just running his guys on super slow, so they did have to call a timeout or get a delay McGay. So everybody thought he was taunting them that. That's not what they were really arguing about. There was a kickoff where South Carolina, the guy held his arms out, and usually that means we're not going to catch catch the ball. We're letting it fly over our head so you guys don't hit.
I remember that now.
So they actually ran a fake play where they caught it behind the guy and then threw it to the left. And Beamer got really pissed off because one of his guys got hurt because he wasn't looking. He thought the play was over and he got hit. So when he was walking across there, he was like, "What's up with that?"
That's why he did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and both coaches kind of confirmed that after the game too.
Wow.
So
Beamer kind of lost control, which I didn't like that.
I didn't either. I mean, you could have walked right up to him and talked to him to his face. Hold me back. I'm going to beat him. Like, what? Come on.
Bielema, I'd put my money on him.
Bielema was a lot better than Beamer.
He's an old offensive line guy, so.
Illinois gets it done 21-17.
Great game. That was
South
a great
Carolina,
game.
They should have been in the playoffs. They got robbed. Right. All right.
Illinois should have been in the playoffs. What are we talking about?
That's right.
Right,
You're
gosh.
right. Put another Big Ten in there. And then the Sun Bowl, Louisville gets it done over Washington 35-34.
That was a good game.
It was.
It was entertaining.
I like Mark Ivey is coaching there at Louisville. Let's get into the next one. It was the JV team of Michigan playing Alabama's varsity. JV Michigan gets it done. They beat Bama. Michigan can play in the rain. Bama can't. That was the bottom line.
You got to give Michigan a lot of credit. I mean, the last 4 games of the year, they were playing as good as anybody on defense, and they have an identity. You may not like it, may not be sexy, but they're going to run the football, and they're going to make you play 4 quarters, and they're going to shorten the game and make you get you into a rock fight.
They're physical. They
Super
play hard. They
physical.
got good kids, good character.
Tackle well.
They were more disciplined. They hustled. They beat Bama 19-13. Turnovers killed us. Milroe did not have a very good game. January 2nd, the Gator Bowl, Ole Miss 52-20 over Duke. Didn't he throw a long touchdown pass at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that one.
Yeah.
I don't know who he's trying to convince to be in the playoffs, but I think that
Hey, Lane, you can't get in once it's
that
already
toothpaste
done.
left the tube.
A lot of people were upset. Even SEC people were like, what are you doing? That was not a good look. Anyway, Clemson takes it on the chin. They get beat, and they fire their defensive coordinator. That was a good one. What's his name? Anyway, they fired the defensive coordinator. Clemson gets beat by Texas 38-24. Then you had Tennessee at Ohio State. Tennessee gets crushed 42-17 at home. That was a hard-hitting physical football game by Ohio State. I thought they looked really good. They looked good in that ball game. SMU they get beat by Penn State 38-10, and that game was played at Penn State.
Yeah.
Then you had Notre Dame, Indiana. That was 27-17. Notre Dame gets it done. And we all know what happened. And all 4 of the teams that had a bye got beat in their games. Rose Bowl, Ohio State won.
We'll say this, outside of Oregon, who do you think the lower seeds are the better teams? I mean, you had Boise State, Arizona
Georgia
State.
and Oregon, I thought, deserved the bye. They won the Big Ten, the SEC.
Right.
The other two's a joke. I don't care what everybody says. They should not have gotten a bye.
Exactly.
But hopefully they'll learn from it and they'll get better as we go on. I want to talk about, if I can find this, I want to talk about Ohio State, Texas real quick. Let me find this thing. We got to pick well, you don't, but we got to get this picks on for Thursday's game. ESPN Plus, their computers, they run everything. They run a computer, and they've done it on the Texas-Ohio State game. The Ohio State Buckeyes were 12-2. They played one less game. They did not play in the Big Ten Championship. Texas did. They got beat by Georgia. Texas is 13-2. The only losses they have on the year, both to the Georgia Bulldogs. Ohio State killed number 9 Tennessee at home in the first round of the playoffs. They were up on Oregon 34-0 in the Rose Bowl. They won 41-21. Texas lost the SEC championship game to Georgia, but they beat Arizona in a close football game 39-31 and 2 overtimes in the Cotton. Was that the Cotton? No. What bowl was that?
Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta Bowl.
No,
it was.
No.
Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl. Peach Bowl. It's the Peach Bowl. Peach Bowl. Now, the computers, ESPN runs these models. They run all these different scenarios. Ohio State, by the models, after going through all this data, Ohio State wins the game by 4.8 points. Now, if you're going to Vegas betting, it opened up at 6 points. Ohio State favored by 6. Now, Ohio State, in their 2 games, the 2 playoff games, they've scored 83 points. That's against Tennessee, which has a good defense. They beat the number 1 team in the country. They scored 41 points on them. Texas defense has given up 31 points to Arizona. They gave up 24 points to Clemson. During the season, their defense was a strength. The playoffs, their defense has not played up to the level that we thought they were going to play to. If they don't put pressure on the quarterback, if they don't put him on the ground, I'm not saying pressure, they got to put him on the ground. Right. If they don't, it's going to be a long day for the Texas Longhorns. I do believe they've got the best roster left that can compete with the Buckeyes, especially on the offense side of the ball, if they have a good day. They got speed of receivers. The running back, they're thin, but they got guys that can run. The quarterback, he's going to have to play the best he's played if they're going to have a chance against Ohio State.
Yours looks like the number one pick in the draft for like 2 series, and then he'll disappear for half the game, and you just can't do that.
Very inconsistent.
When you got an offense running all cylinders like Ohio State. Now, I do think Texas's A game is as close to Ohio State's A game as anybody left in the field. They got some young defensive studs. Simmons, I think he was the freshman of the year.
Anthony Hill.
Was that Anthony Hill that was the freshman of the year over Jeremiah Smith, which is absolutely laughable. But anyway, they got some talent on defense.
Hold your thoughts right there. Let's talk about your business. What's the best way to get up with you?
You can call us at 850-708-3051. If you're a coach or a trainer or anything, if you want us to come out and sample to any groups, we can do that as well. You can come by. I'm usually at the 23rd Street store, usually 2 to 7, Monday through Friday. You can come see me down there. We got our InBody 570 at both locations, so you can come in and track your results. We got a certified nutrition on staff if you're looking for a meal plan, and we also have our free sample bar where you can come in and try our products for free if you're looking for a new pre-workout, protein, amino acid, vitamins, greens. We got it all for you. Just come by and check us out.
And also, we'll probably be down Thursday for the Penn State game, maybe the Texas game in Ohio State, not sure about that one, but Thursday or Friday, that Cajun place, find out the pictures when the games are being played, the best wings you get anywhere, 27 plus TVs, the food's incredible. Get on that Cajun place, wear your school colors, have a great time. Newbies, 4 great locations, love those people down there. Dr. Ward, 1 in 5 Vale Skin Cancer's office throughout the Panhandle of Florida. Don't put it off. Go get checked out. 5 minutes can save your life. Paparazzi Pizza, Turf Pro Pest Control. I want some great jewelry. Where am I going to go?
If you're a smart man, and I know you are, you're going to go and take advantage of the estate sale going on now at David Adamson Designer Jewelry, Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
And don't forget about the local 115 downtown historical Panama City. This is going to be a sports-themed oyster bar. The food's going to be incredible. Go check it out, lunch and dinner, and we'll let you know in the grand opening. They're getting closer and closer every day. The local 115. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The afternoon underdogs.
He's too prideful to step away. We have the right money and players and people. We don't utilize them correctly. And what are we doing? Why do I have to watch CeeDee Lamb be so prideful and then come to the sidelines and talk crap to our own team? I should never have to see that.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear this afternoon and evening with a brisk wind out of the north around 9 miles per hour and temps near 49. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 8 miles per hour and be slightly above freezing at 35. Mostly sunny tomorrow and a high 52 with a gentle breeze. Mostly sunshine Thursday with a temp of 52. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you're watching football this season, you know anything can happen. And on Hard Rock Bet, you mean anything. One fan in South Florida turned a $1 touchdown parlay into a $40,000 payday. Hard Rock Bet has parlays for days. With flex parlays, now you can even miss a few picks and still get paid. Parlays for every kind of play. Only on Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. When your first bet or get up to $100 back in bonus bets. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
He has a really low passenger rating on Uber. He punched a magician and started a petition to remove the penny from circulation.
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael studio.
Is he sane? I have no idea.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
They didn't look like they could.
And welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Tell you what, get down to B4 Brady's if you're out there and you want to go to David Addison, fine jewelry, and get some great jewelry and keep everybody happy at home. Or your boyfriend and girlfriend, or both, like Wildcat. He has them all. That's where you want to go. But head to B4 Brady's after that. Get down in Lynn Haven. Get out to B4 Brady's. Have a great time. Don't forget tomorrow at B4 Brady's, 10 wings inside for $9.99. They do a great job, man. I love the people that work there. Wonderful people. And they listen to us, and we appreciate that. Bowl season, golly, man. What did you guys think about the bowl season? Not many, the crowds weren't great at any of them. Then this sad situation in New Orleans. Rose Bowl, I thought, was beautiful. The weather was great. That would, to me, look like really good. The Peach Bowl, they were giving away tickets to the Peach Bowl.
I think a lot of these games had the tickets either went down substantially in price or they had trouble selling all of them. I mean, we've talked about this.
You can get in a Peach Bowl for about $50.
Yeah, and I've been looking at tickets for the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, I found tickets for $175 right now. I mean,
are you kidding?
No.
Well, listen, now the weather is going to be a problem
factor
there. You're going to freezing, ice, snow.
I actually just read something that they're talking about even trying to postpone the game.
For what, Saturday?
Yeah. Because of the weather's that come in, it's supposed to be like 20 degrees, supposed to get 3 or 4 inches of snow, so they don't want people out driving because people that drive in the south with snow are not good at it.
Not good at all. Yeah.
You'd have a lot of wrecks out there. Look like freaking, a war happened. But that's just something that was rumored on, I think, CBS Sports. So we'll keep monitoring that, and I'm sure you guys will update it if you guys hear anything different.
Yeah, one time I was talking to Jim. At one time, somebody had mentioned, well, do we need to change the game from the Orange Bowl to Friday and play Thursday the Cotton Bowl because what happened down in New Orleans. But we were talking. I said, people have made plans weeks in advance about work and having hotel rooms and stuff like that. That'd be really tough to do. And they still get a week. I mean, they still got a week to prepare. Right. NFL, you only got a week to prepare the game, so I think they'll be okay. But as soon as we know anything, I think they're going to try to play it if they can. That will probably hurt the crowd, no doubt about that, getting in there to that ball game. But looking forward to that one. Let's talk about Penn State, Notre Dame. I got to give Franklin credit, man. I like both these teams. I think they're both really good football teams. I love Notre Dame's players. The Sugar Bowl, like I said, the SEC Network, they have teams on. You get a little bit more information. Them are good kids, man. That quarterback, he's from Alabama, but he's a starting quarterback at Notre Dame, played at Duke. That's a first-class, big Christian guy. Yeah. And you talk to their players and you listen to them being there. They're intelligent. I mean, they're good character kids, and they play really hard. I feel good about Notre Dame. But then again, I watched Penn State. They look good right now. They're playing well right now.
I think they're mirror images of each other. Where I give Penn State a slight edge is in the passing game. I think if you get into a 24-21 game where you have to, maybe execute a little bit more on third downs and passing, I give the edge to Penn State. I think, they're what is it, Tyler Warren, their tight end, is a huge weapon, 6'6". I mean, he's a talented guy. Good. So he gives them that little aspect. But if you look at defense, running football, physicality, Notre Dame, to me, is still as good as anybody left on the field.
I think they're both physical.
They both
like
are.
Penn State, too.
I do, too.
I do.
And their two-headed running back, they're as good as Ohio State's. They're as good as Alabama's. They're as good as anybody in the country. So
Penn State has definitely improved.
My only concern, and we talk about this a lot, and I hate to say this, James Franklin is a great guy. He's a good coach, but sometimes in big games he does some dumb stuff, and that really worries me in this game because I think if Penn State comes out and puts their foot to the pedal and plays like they did on offense, like they did against Oregon, I think they beat Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame being offensively limited, and I think that caters to Penn State's defense because I think they can stop the run. I think they can crowd the box, and at that point, it's going to be on Riley Leonard. Can he beat you from the pocket? I'm not sure Notre Dame can do that, but I do think their defense is tremendous. I think it's one of the best in the country. Their secondary is phenomenal, and they don't even have their best player in the secondary, and they lost their number one defensive tackle, too, so that's a little bit scary to think of. Marcus Freeman can coach. He deserves all the credit in the world. Marcus Freeman's who everybody thought Prime was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Prime gets all the headlines and all the talk. Marcus Freeman's doing that at Notre Dame and gets no credit for it. Absolutely none.
You know, we were talking about the players, watching them being interviewed. But when they interviewed him, he's first class.
Smart guy. He's learned under Tressel, played under Tressel. Tressel was a very good football coach. He was a lot more like Woody. He didn't have the outspoken, brash character, but he was a hard-nosed, grinded out, run the football, be physical on defense type coach, and that's where Freeman learned. Freeman was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati under Fickle when they had them great defenses and played Alabama, and so he knows how to coach defense. He's a good coach.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman's come a long way. Think back to not this season, but last season when Ohio State played him, and Freeman took so much grief because for 2 plays they had 10 guys in the field, 2 plays in a row, and then they lose to Northern Illinois this year. Yeah. It's like, he's on his way out. Well, he's really bounced back, and like you say, his father was a career military guy, and you can tell he was raised right. He's got the right values, and he's got his head on right. I'm impressed with him, too. Notre Dame has come a long way this year.
Yep. But could this be the year Franklin puts all that to rest? And heck, who knows? Can he shock the world and win it all?
All 4 of those coaches, they've all got that reputation that they can't win big games. Day certainly has it. Sark has it.
Somebody's going to get it.
Somebody's going to eliminate that.
All those coaches got that reputation. Hey, you can't win the big one. Well, they're in the Final Four. I think they've won some big games along the way here somewhere.
But I also think that the portal and NIL has leveled the playing field. This Notre Dame team, when we've seen in the past, they would get out here and get absolutely obliterated by a Georgia team. Now you can see the talent, speed, the physicality. Everybody's like, well, we didn't have Beck. I don't think it would have mattered with the offensive line getting dominated the way they did. I mean, you could have put Joe Montana back there, and he still wasn't going to, be successful. They were getting beat up on the offensive line.
Beck doesn't cover kicks.
No,
All right, I think it'll be a low-scoring, hard, physical football game. It's going to be played outdoors in Miami, which I think is one of the worst places to play. I just don't like going to ball games down there.
Right.
All right, who do you like in this one?
I agree with what Jason said before. I think they're very evenly matched, but I never thought I'd hear myself saying this. I think the advantage to Penn State is Drew Aller.
Yeah.
I think he's more of a threat on offense than Riley Leonard is at Notre Dame. And then, one of our friends that we know who's a big Notre Dame I said, about the passing, he goes, well, that's been a problem all year. Good point.
Yeah.
They've made it this far without really being able to throw the ball. But I think Penn State's going to pull it out. A close one, real close.
Yeah, I kind of, I'm not going to take yours yet. Thursday, I'll get yours.
Okay.
I think they're going to have a Big Ten championship game. I think it's Penn State and Ohio State again. It's hard to beat somebody twice in a year.
It is.
We'll know after this week who's going to be playing
that first Penn State Ohio State game. I mean, they had the ball in the 10-yard line with less than a minute to go to win that game, and then they just inexplicably forgot they had Tyler Warren on their team and didn't even utilize him. So that's still a tough game. I just think out of all the teams, if Ohio State plays their A game is just a little bit better than everybody else's.
All right, we got Ryan Mulvey. We'll have the Inside Drive show. They do both them guys are great. They do a great job. Make sure you leave it right here. That one will kick off at 11 o'clock. And then David and the Underdogs this afternoon. I think Brian's with him this afternoon. They have a great show lined up for you this evening. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get Dr. Ward. He's out in Japan. We might get a phone call from Japan tomorrow. That's going to be pretty that'd be neat. Mark McLeod tomorrow talking all about the Florida Gators. They did get a big safety from UAB, 6'3", 200-pound kid. Pretty good ball player. They've done a great job recruiting, great job people transferring in.
Florida State's killing it in the transfer portal. I know that they had a rough year, but they are ranked 3rd or 4th. They've added wide receivers.
Florida State or Florida?
Florida State.
Yeah.
They got everything. If Castellanos can play up to his ability, I think Florida State's going to be back in the ACC championship hunt. And they need it.
We will have everything for you. We got tomorrow. We're 3 days away from the big one?
Yep.
And the national championship game is going to be January 20th.
Yeah.
All right, we're out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
It was exposed. exposed that Jalen was having a little affair with and dating the therapist on the team, which is a total no-no. I don't know how you get smart when you're already stupid. So,